Hey guys, I'm Matt Nichols at MrMaple.com. Welcome to the 10 at 10 for April 11th of 2023. I think a couple weeks ago I said 2022, so people catch me on that. It is actually 2023.
Howdy guys, I'm Tim from Mr. Maple. Make sure you smash that like button, comment, get involved in the live chat. We air our videos every single day at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for Friday where we air our podcast at 8 p.m. So get involved in those live chats. We got a great community of people. We just recently had an open house and people had a blast. But guys, you know, if you want to come to an open house, we've got an open house coming up on Memorial Day. That's Monday, Memorial Day. So make sure you get your reservations now. Hendersonville books up fast when it comes to Memorial Day. That's going to be on Memorial Day, Monday itself. So make sure you get your hotel rooms now because we're going to have amazing plants, a lot of cool plants we didn't have up here in the last open house. But guys, we've got a 10 at 10 for you today. So we're listing 10 new plants, actually 20, at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on MrMaple.com.
I always get somebody that asks. They see the 10 at 10 and they write in the comment section at 9:35, Eastern Time, where are these plants? They're not on your website. Guys, they list at 10 a.m. That comes on every single Tuesday at 10 a.m. So there's always something new happening. And as Tim said, it's actually 20 plants. If you sign up for that email, you'll get the full list. We just like to talk about 10 of our favorites here today, and we'll get right into it. We got some cool stuff for you on the table today. As we get into spring, we have more and more stuff finishing. Some of that rare stuff is showing up, so there's some really crazy, neat things hitting the 10 at 10s. Stay tuned for those. We're always trying to bring it.
You want to start off on your side?
Yeah, let's do it. We got a Makawa type here, guys. We've got Catalina yatsubusa.
Guys, Catalina yatsubusa is a variegated Makawa type. This is a more upright type, where a type like lily pad that you've seen us offer before is a little more wider and lower growing. This plant is amazing though. It's a green with like a green unique style variegation.
Yeah, first leaves out almost, you'll think it's reverted when it first leaves out. It comes out like a green ruffled, almost reminds me a little bit more of tattoo. But then that variegation starts to spread over the tree and you'll notice more and more swirling and more of a border to it.
Guys, Catalina yatsubusa is one of the plants that's going to sell out really quickly today. Yeah, we try to make them in as large numbers as we can, but what you need to do is check out fast, because if you don't, you'll miss out. If you add them to your cart, it doesn't hold it for you until you complete the checkout process and you've got an order number. Then you've got a plant saved for you. It's going to be mailing to you in the mail from Mr. Maple.
Guys, we make it as fair as possible. We don't do any reservations, and everybody's got an equal chance at 10 a.m. to pick up any of the weird Makawa types. We keep bringing it. There's going to be even more types listing. Catalina, kicking it off here in April, a really cool type. I think you're definitely going to want to add this to your garden if you don't have it. We call it the Makawa family collection. We kind of coined that term here at our nursery, and this is, I would say, a crucial member of that. It's awesome for colors. This is going to work great in the ground or container. You already know, if you're watching this, you like the Makawa types, but cutting edge types here. We love variegated Makawas, so any chance we get to offer one, we're going to be offering some variegated Makawas.
Now guys, we do a Saturday showcase each and every week, and one of our Saturday showcase series we did was the Makawa family collection. We'll probably be adding to that as well, but we definitely go through and talk about all the different Makawa variants, including Catalina yatsubusa, and this is one you won't want to miss out on.
Let's go ahead and hit up your size here. Let's show them the 3 gallon.
All right, guys. So I've got some 3 gallon Kumoi nishiki. This is an Acer sieboldianum selection. It's got that rounded leaf, but it's one of the very few variegated types that have that full moon rounded leaf.
And this one is, I've never seen it revert. Out of everyone I've ever grafted, I've never had one lose its variegation. It is a strong, consistent variegation that is starkly contrasting with the natural colored leaf. It leaves out a little lighter green. It almost gets to a darker green, but it has tons of white striations going on within that leaf. It's really cool. I mean, it's one of those trees that is distinctly variegated and very unique. And that's actually prevalent too during the red fall color. You get kind of a soft pink coloration going on in the white variegation, while the overall leaf goes to a bold red.
I mean, the fall color is outstanding on this plant as well. The spring color when you really enjoy this plant, but that summer variegation is just as good as the spring.
Yeah, we're shooting this one early, so it's probably already in full leaf, and it's going to look a little larger when these are in full leaf. I would estimate these at well over 2.5 feet, kind of the set. Great size 3 gallons. Don't sleep on these. They're going to be popular, and always a hitter.
Yeah, I love variegated plants, and a variegated full moon style leaf with the Acer sieboldianum is pretty spectacular.
So you know Tim loves variegated, but he also loves yellow. Next up on the table, we've got Acer palmatum yellow threads.
Guys, one of Talon Buchholz's introductions. It's one of my favorite of his introductions. And this is a unique style lunar lobum. That means it's got that strap style leaf where the lobes are very pointy and elongated. And this plant gets it's not a very large plant. It gets about equally tall as it does wide. Think of something almost the shape of something like a Villa Toronto, but with that more yellow color.
Now, if you can give this one early morning sun, you'll really pick up some of that bright yellow. The early morning sun is, I think, essential for this one to get to its peak yellows. That spring color can almost reach a high lighter hue. It's very unique in that. I love it. It's got great yellow fall color as well. Think about, something like Koto no Ito, but with a little bit more something extra. It's got that yellow coloration to give you something more outside the box. And one of the true first insane variations, I think, of a lunar lobulum Japanese maple. I mean, it's really taken it more outside the box. We've got greens and reds. Now we've got a yellow variegated.
It really is pretty spectacular. And the thing about this plant too is it's hard to capture how gorgeous this plant is, but we actually did a really good job of this when we filmed the video on yellow threads in one of our mature plants in Maplewood Gardens. So go check out our cultivar spotlight on Acer palmatum yellow threads, and you can see this plant in that morning sun like Matt's talking about, just glistening with its yellow color.
Awesome yellow variation there. Ooh man, another one of my favorites. Now this one actually may be one of my favorites.
Acer palmatum peaches and cream, y'all.
Now guys, this is the correct form. This is the OG form of peaches and cream. It's often mixed up in the trade with white peaches and First Ghost. This is the real form of peaches and cream as described by Talon Buchholz and many elder nurserymen.
J.D. Veritrees.
Yeah, J.D. Veritrees has the same one in his garden. This is an amazing tree that displays some unreal shades. Gosh, I would say this one may give Firefly a run. This is probably my second favorite reticulated Japanese maple right after
maybe
Firefly.
Third for me. I like Ruby de Sofia pretty well too.
It's close. It is a hitter. It is one that's unreal in the color. One of my all-time favorite trees though, peaches and cream in the correct form. You get a lot of that peach, you get a lot of that cream, and you get a whole lot of reticulation.
The other thing is this plant, it gets that peach and cream like you talked about, and that's obviously where the name came from. Is a selection from Australia by AJTs, and this plant is spectacular. The fall color is typically a pure yellow on peaches and cream, and it has a more upright shape. And we've got a gorgeous one in Maplewood Gardens we did a video on before as well. But this plant is spectacular all throughout the season. For a reticulated type, this one's a rock star.
Oh my gosh, if you can give this one, early morning sun, we need that 1 yard that's all early morning sun. But if you can give this one early morning sun with some late day protection, you can really brighten those hues. I know one of our pictures is in Dr. Criticos' garden in full sun in the early spring, and wow, it really lights up. Give this one, don't be afraid to give this one a little bit more light than some of the other reticulated forms, especially in that early spring garden. You don't want to have it in heavy shade, then bring it out to all light right away. You want to kind of gradually do that. But an awesome tree for spring interest. It's hard to beat the real form of peaches and cream. I mean, it is next level as far as reticulation.
Do I see more yellow?
Guys, next up we've got Acer palmatum Anne-Irene. Oh geez. So we've got the variegated form of summer gold. So if you love summer gold, we're bringing it with a ruffled variegated style leaf.
Now guys, these have been in our cold frame, so they're in a 55% white poly. That means they're a little more shaded. If you give this tree some sunlight as it's leafing out, the outside edge, which is a ruffled edge, can give you an orangey red kind of color.
Just like summer gold.
And that contrasts so well against the yellow interior part of the leaf. It makes an amazing spring display and then continues that yellow color throughout the season. It's pretty spectacular. Fall colors of oranges and red. This is a quintessential yellow tree to use in your landscape and garden.
Guys, we love this plant. It has a good bit of the summer gold durability. I've seen people pushing this one in sunlight because summer gold can handle a good bit of sunlight. Test it out. If you have it in a container, maybe try it in some early spring sun. It's been just as durable as summer gold for us so far. I've got a large one in the ground. We'll have to do a full cultivar highlight with that big one in the ground some point this spring. It is an amazing tree, not only for the color you get, but the leaf shape. I think the leaf shape is understated on this one. It is an irregular ruffled leaf. It just gives it more of a frilly appearance, but on a plant that's tough as heck. I mean, if you love summer gold, Anne-Irene's gonna bring everything you got there and more.
And guys, you want to get one of these Anne-Irenes when they're these large 1 gallons like this.
Great sizes.
In about a month, if any of these are still around, which I doubt they will be, they're probably going to gallons because the branches will harden up and they won't be able to ship in our 1 gallon containers, in our 1 gallon shipping boxes. So get these Anne-Irenes in this large size while you can take advantage of this huge 1 gallon.
Great bright red fall color, and where you see the variegation, you kind of get a weird pink as well, like white to pink. So it's really cool in the fall. And just a tree that keeps lighting up the landscape. Think about this one for a container garden. These are going to work zones 5 through 9. I like them for a planter because you can kind of play with them, but you can also get that very decorative ornamental trait, you know, back up onto the patio or deck.
Guys, next we got an amazing fall color Japanese maples. This is Acer palmatum hachijo.
Hachijo may be the best yellow fall color Japanese maple of them all. There's several, you know, different ones that could give it a run for its money. For me, this one can rival ginkgos for fall color. I love it again because it has a ruffled leaf, so you get a little bit something outside the box. But if you're looking for intense yellow fall color, think about hachijo. I know when we purchased Highland Creek Nursery, Brian Upchurch told me that in Japan specifically, a lot of cultivars were coming from seedlings from hachijo. Now, so that's just something you can take for information. So if you like to look through new seedlings, hachijo may be a doorway to a lot of unique things.
I was told that you could find dwarfs, lace leaves, variegated types, all different unique styles, all from hachijo, which just blows my mind. It makes you wonder if the flower isn't more receptive to pollen from other Japanese maples than many other Japanese maples.
So if you're a plant collector and you want to look for new ones possibly to name, great place to start with. That's a little inside baseball for you, but
that fall color that Matt talked about, this is an amazing fall color. Great plant to pair out there with Osakazuki. Starts out as those bold yellows. I love if you get a little bit later into the season and you get a little bit of orange into it, that is when it is just primo for me. And
check out our full video we did on hachijo in premium fall color. Guys, we're getting a huge catalog here of videos, so we say that a lot, but there's some great content. I know we captured Osakazuki in one of our display gardens, or excuse me, Osakazuki, the fall color,
yeah.
But hachijo in premium fall color in one of our display gardens. And I mean, if I'm picking a yellow fall color, this is probably my favorite.
It's pretty awesome.
All right, back by popular demand, we've got Acer palmatum Hime Shojo. Now guys, this is a great compact dwarf that brings a ton of red interest.
Now, one of the reasons I love this is it's a recent introduction from Japan, so it's pretty new out there in the nursery trade. It was brought over in 2008, but it holds its color so well throughout the season. We're talking about with sunlight, but we're also talking about in the shade, which makes it very unique for many red dwarf Japanese maples. A lot of red selections need more of that sunlight to keep that red color.
Now guys, I always let our bonsai guys know this one is grafted. All of our trees that are named cultivars are grafted unless otherwise specified. Cultivars typically should be grafted. You can air layer from this one or do rooted cuttings. Hime Shojo is an awesome tree for bonsai. This is going to give you something to pair exceptionally well with classic bonsai types like Auto Hime, Kapershi Dwarf, Murasaki Hime, Kashima. Think of this one in that same vein as a compact dwarf form, but with that bright red interest.
And the leaves are just so small, it makes them ideal for bonsai. I mean, the new growth flushes are even smaller than the older growth, which gives it a really unique style, but also if you're doing that pinch back method, the leaves that result from coming back are going to result in even tinier foliage. So for people who want to do bonsai, these are grafted, but this is a fantastic cultivar to work with.
Now you can play with the shape of this one a good bit. I've seen people stake a central leader and turn this into more of a tree form, and if you do stake it up, it does tend to get a little bit taller than, say, Kiyohime. Unstaked in the ground, you're talking about a 3 to 4 feet tall by equally as wide. It's going to make that toadstool-like shape and even get a little bit wider than that in time, but a small, compact habit, great to top a patio planter, great for a conifer garden or a small area garden where you want to add red. And this brings it. I mean, I love this plant. I think it is the quintessential tree, you know, and an accompaniment to something like Murasaki Kiyohime as well. get the red form. It's going to go out and add everything you love about those dwarfs, but with color.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why this tree is becoming so popular and it's so new in the nursery trade, and that's because it's such a great tree to use out in the garden.
Another one not to sleep on. We do tend to sell out of that one.
Back by popular demand, another one's going to sell out very quickly today. Acer palmatum Ghost Dragon.
Now guys, this is one we named here. The name's almost laughable. It's kind of a joke. We combined two of the most popular names in Japanese maples to get a ghost dragon. This one can get some weird swirling in it. Can almost get a Higashiyama style spark to it, especially in that later summer growth. You want to be leafing this one out as slowly as possible, kind of like Ukigumo to give it its best color. But every season, this one's leafed out with a great bright red border and some interesting swirling going on in it. Now this one is a seedling from Ryusen or Ryusei, so it's going to have that pendulous nature. You want to stake this one to about the height you want it to be, and then just let it cascade down from there. So this one's also going to work great in a big container or planter. I know Brian and a lot of people are putting these even in hanging baskets now, so definitely check out our video on how to do these in hanging baskets.
But one thing I've learned about this plant is give it some sunlight and leaf it out slower. If you can find a way for this plant to leaf out slower, you're going to get more of that Higashiyama unique swirling in it. But if it's in sunlight, it actually puts on more of that purple border with this selection. And this plant is amazing. It's that Ryusen style with that heavily pendulous cascading habit. There's so many fun ways to grow those types. Like Matt talked about the hanging baskets.
Check out our how to stake a tree video. I mean, all you have to do is take any piece of this and take that upward, and it's going to continue to weep from there. So if you take any one of these branches and make them a central leader to it, I'd take the biggest one typically and stake it up. The whole tree is going to weep down from that point.
And one thing you can think about too, in the nursery industry, everybody stakes it straight up. You don't have to do that. You can always stake up part of it and give it angles so it have more funky twists. And this is one that you can shape and play with because of its unique, vigorous growth habit and its heavily cascading habit.
Part of our Area 51 collection. Definitely don't sleep on Ghost Dragon. It's always popular. We've got another fun one for you guys. It's Acer palmatum Ariadne.
Guys, you probably heard this before, but I said this was the Greek goddess of the maize. And I was
Which
asking,
it is.
It is.
To be fair, it is.
And I was asking Corey, hey, did you name this after the Greek goddess of the maize, the guy who introduced this? And he's like, no, that's my daughter's name.
Yeah, but it also has this funky reticulation that kind of looks like the maze my kids would draw through. You know, at the table when you're trying to do the get quiet at the dinner menu there, and you got the play set. This one has that etching, so you can go through and look at that unique leaf. Now, Ariadne actually has a really unique elongated lobes to it too. So it's almost like Sister Ghost, but the leaf even gets bigger. But then you get that purple and that burgundy underflushing to it. It's a very unique reticulated form.
The lime green veins on this are, to me, what make this tree stand out so much. The veining is so prominent on this cultivar that the color changes as it gets all those colors across the top of it, make it pop so much more than many of the other selections. That lime green just draws you in, entrances you. You know, you'll get lost in the maze of colors, as my description says.
This one's awesome to pair with any of the Ghost series. If you've got any of the newer purple variations of the new Ghost, it's going to stand out and look excellent against those. It's a uniquely colored tree in that it really looks awesome in the landscape against anything, but you can pair this with some dark reds or greens and really see all the color contrast going on in Ariadne.
And last today, we've got Acer palmatum Shojo nomura.
I like to call my nieces Shojo nomura. I believe this is the one that's dancing red-faced monkey. And so when I tell them what it means, they laugh at me. It is an awesome upright red. We're going to do a comparing upright red series here on our channel where we look at specimens. So be staying tuned for that. We're going to start out with some more of the basics, but we'll definitely get to some things like Shojo nomura. Awesome tree, very durable, very heat tolerant. Great colors and exceptional bright red fall color.
Yeah, I mean, deep burgundies throughout the year, and it has a larger leaf, and the leaf can get a little bit of a swirl to it as this tree matures. A great red upright, not commonly found in the nursery trade, but it is a selection from Japan. And this is one that I tend to really enjoy seeing out there in the landscape. Right. I know Dr. Kritikos has one that we went and visited out at his gardens in Flat Rock, North Carolina. And this is a plant that is very unique and very different.
Great colors on this one. I've actually seen some good bonsai done of this one, although it's not common for that. It is a exceptional tree with high interest. And you know, if you're a plant collector, we love doing some of the older ones too. This one might not be as common in the trade anymore, but it's still an awesome plant.
Matt, of all these trees out here, what's your favorite pairing?
Favorite pairing? Hime Shojo, Catalina yatsubusa.
You know, Hime Shojo and yellow threads would be good, but another one that'd be pretty spectacular is Anne-Irene and Shojo nomura.
Yeah, that was my secondary pick. If you could put Anne-Irene in front of Shojo nomura, that darkness of the Shojo nomura and that variegation and yellow of the Anne-Irene, that's awesome. You can put anything with peaches and cream and it looks good. There's no tree to pair with peaches and cream that doesn't look amazing, especially when you have the correct form.
Well guys, we hope you've enjoyed today's video on the 10 at 10. All these trees are getting listed today at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to figure out what the full listing is today, go on at 10 a.m. and you can find out that way. But for next week, sign up for our weekly emails on MrMaple.com. You can just go to MrMaple.com, a little sign up will pop up, you plug your email in there, and we'll start emailing you with the full listing of the 20 plants that are getting listed each and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Guys, if you made it to this part of the video, you've already enjoyed it. So make sure to give us a sub if you're new here. And if you're a regular, guys, that chat is awesome. You guys are a madhouse. You make that chat and the premieres a lot of fun. There's always plant conversations going on during our premieres, during that live chat. It's a community you're going to want to be a part of. Heck, they had a meetup at our open house from just people from that live chat. It was a ton of fun. And I know some people in that live chat are buying trees regularly for other people in that live chat. Derek Ortiz recently bought a tree and he said, I want to make sure it's somebody that's in there all the time. So he was like checking with me before he give a tree away. He's like, you see this guy in there? So there's a lot of people. Doug McDougall's give away trees. Michael James's give away trees. Alan LaFoe's give away trees. We got a lot of fun people in that group and generous people too. People that love to talk about plants but also share their love of gardening with others. So think about joining our premieres. It's a fun way to get involved there. I'll also give a shout out to our international community. Guys, we greatly appreciate you joining this channel. We can't ship outside the United States, but we really appreciate you being part of this. There's regular people here all the time from all over the world.
And guys, if you love gardening and you love Japanese maples, make sure you find us on your favorite podcast platform. Even if you've never listened to podcasts before, you're going to want to get involved and listen to our podcast.
There's some next level plant information on there.
We've got great plant information where Matt and I are discussing, you know, the process it takes to make a 1 gallon Japanese maple.
What witch's brooms are.
How to grow your Japanese maples. Or we go through and do some excellent interviews.
Hybridization.
With people who are next level with Japanese maples. So if you're a maple geek like we are, you're going to really enjoy our podcasts.
Guys, don't wait. 10 a.m.'s coming up soon. We got to get these items down to the shipping shed. We're going to be selling out a lot of these items today. So make sure you check out right at 10 if you're getting after some of our rarer items. And we really appreciate you tuning into the Mr. Maple Show.
Take care.
God bless.
And have an awesome day. Now, Matt, let's get going.